Okay, I have to just get this out because if I don't, I think my head might actually explode. So you know how you see those drama stories online and you think, wow, that could never happen to me. Well, buckle up because apparently my life is one of those stories now. And honestly, it feels like a movie except I'm the guy who loses everything while everyone else just walks away smiling. Seriously, what the hell? It all started about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now if I'm being honest with myself. That's when she came into my life. Let's call her Anna. We worked at the same company. You know how it goes. You meet someone in the break room, you start chatting about stupid stuff like how the coffee tastes like burnt rubber or how your boss is obsessed with spreadsheets. At first, it was nothing, but then it wasn't nothing anymore. We started grabbing lunch together, just as friends at first, or so I kept telling myself. But then there were inside jokes, late-night texts about things way deeper than work, sharing music playlists, dreams we had since we were kids. It didn't take long before we were literally telling each other our darkest secrets. Like the kind of stuff you don't even tell your spouse because you think they either wouldn't get it or they'd judge you. And yes, I'm married. 10 years with my wife, Lisa. 10 years. Anna was also married for 10 years to this guy named Mark. Two parallel lives running quietly alongside each other until suddenly our paths crossed and bam, cliché as it sounds, sparks flew. I swear for a while it felt like we were in some kind of forbidden romance novel. Ridiculous, right? But here's the thing, I didn't set out to cheat. Like genuinely, I didn't wake up thinking, hey, today's a great day to mess up my entire life. It just happened. One text led to another, one conversation got too deep, one after-work drink turned into two, and then there we were, talking every day about everything and nothing at all. I remember one night lying in bed next to Lisa while texting Anna under the covers. She sent me this message that said she felt like no one really saw her, like she was invisible in her own marriage, and she thanked me for making her feel alive again. My heart was pounding so hard I thought Lisa would hear it through the sheets. At that point, I was hooked, completely gone. It went on like that for months, this weird double life where I'd go home and play the perfect husband, but inside I was craving these conversations with Anna more than anything else. We'd sneak glances at work meetings. We'd invent excuses to hang out during lunch breaks. There was something electric about it, something that made me feel young again, like anything was possible. But here's when things took a turn. The kind of turn where you know you should slam on the brakes, but instead you floor the gas pedal. In January, right after New Year's, fresh start and all that garbage, Lisa found some of my texts with Anna. Not even the worst ones. Just enough to know something was off, enough flirtation in there to make any spouse's blood run cold. She confronted me that night in our kitchen while I was making tea. What is this? She held up my phone and scrolled through a few messages. Who is Anna? My stomach dropped straight through the floor. My hands were shaking so much I spilled boiling water on my foot and barely even noticed. Of course I denied it at first, don't we all? But Lisa isn't stupid. She knows me too well and honestly. The guilt on my face probably said it all. That night ended with me sleeping on the couch, Lisa crying herself to sleep upstairs. The next day, we had the talk, the kind of conversation where every word is like a knife twisting deeper. Do you love her? How long has this been going on? Are you going to leave me? I didn't have answers for half of those questions because honestly, I didn't even know what I wanted anymore. Things moved fast after that, almost like someone hit fast forward on my life without asking me first. Within a week, I moved out into this depressing little apartment above a Thai restaurant downtown. The kind of place where everything smells like lemongrass no matter how many candles you light. And just like that, 10 years of marriage done in a week. Anna and I clung to each other after that like survivors from a shipwreck. She became my lifeline when everything else was burning down around me. Suddenly, we weren't just talking about our dreams anymore. We were living them together, or so I thought. We started seeing each other all the time, now without any need for hiding or sneaking around, well, unless you count hiding from her husband. And yeah, things got physical pretty quickly after that. First time it happened, we both cried right afterwards, I guess out of relief and guilt all mixed together. But then it just kept happening because honestly, it felt amazing to finally be with someone who got me. And then, you guessed it, we started saying, I love you. Like full-on teenage drama. Late night calls whispering, "I love you," so softly so no one else would hear. Sending heart emojis back and forth like idiots. Planning out imaginary futures where somehow nobody got hurt except maybe our spouses who already were hurt beyond repair thanks to us. But nothing is ever that simple, right? Because here, that's what nobody tells you about affairs. They're built on lies, and sooner or later those lies catch up with you whether you're ready or not. For months after moving out, Anna kept telling me how unhappy she was in her marriage with Mark, that he never listened to her, never cared about what she wanted, treated her more like furniture than an actual human being. She'd say things like, "You make me feel seen," or "I wish we could just run away together." So obviously, I started thinking maybe this was our chance for happiness. Maybe we really could have something real if she just left him the way I left Lisa. And yeah, maybe part of me needed that hope because otherwise what did I lose everything for? But every time I brought up actually leaving her husband, things got weirdly tense. She'd say stuff like it's complicated, or I need more time, or what if he finds out and ruins my life? At first I understood. I mean, this is messy stuff. But weeks turned into months and suddenly it felt less like waiting for her to break free and more like waiting for Godot. I tried not to push too hard, but come on. How long are you supposed to wait for someone who keeps promising they'll leap but never actually jumps? Finally, one night over dinner, pizza in her car at some random park because secrecy had become our middle name, I asked, "Are we ever going to have a real shot at this? Or am I just wasting my time?" She looked down at the pizza box between us and said quietly, "I don't know if I can do it." That's when something cracked inside me, a fissure running straight down the middle of everything we'd built together since day one. After that conversation, things started falling apart fast, faster than even my marriage did, which is saying something. Suddenly, Anna wasn't texting as much. She canceled plans last minute, stopped saying, "I love you" first. It was always me chasing after her instead of us running toward each other together like before. Every time we met up felt forced now, as if she was doing me a favor instead of meeting someone she couldn't live without. And then, the final blow, she ended things over text. A damn text message. After nearly 2 years, she wrote, "I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore." That's it. No explanation beyond some vague crap about needing space and not wanting anyone else hurt by our choices anymore, blah blah blah. I stared at my phone for hours afterward, feeling like someone had punched straight through my chest and scooped everything out until there was nothing left inside but air. Meanwhile, Anna just drifted back into her old life as if none of this ever even happened, posting happy couple photos with Mark on Facebook, going back to girls' brunches, acting like Little Miss Innocent while meanwhile my entire existence had been burned down to ashes. How does that work? How does she get off scot-free while I'm left holding nothing but memories and regrets? Here. That's what nobody prepares you for. Aftermath isn't just quiet, it's suffocatingly silent. My apartment became this echo chamber for all the what-ifs bouncing around in my head every night until sunrise. What if Anna really did love me but was too scared? What if Lisa would have forgiven me if only I hadn't pushed too far? What if all of this is karma giving me exactly what I deserved? Or worse still, what if none of it meant anything at all some nights, when the city outside got quiet enough that even the traffic seemed to hold its breath? I'd replay everything in my head. The first laugh with Anna over burnt coffee, the trembling confession when she told me she sometimes wished she could disappear, the way she'd look at me across conference tables as though no one else existed but us, and then the bitter taste of realizing she'd gone completely cold overnight. Not angry, not even sad, just gone, like flipping off a light switch in a room where you'd memorized every shadow. It makes your brain itch with questions you'll never get answers for. Why didn't she leave him? Did she ever actually love me? Or did she just love escaping reality with someone new? Am I actually any better than Mark? Or am I just another chapter in her story she'll never let anyone read out loud? There are days when I'm convinced it's all been some elaborate joke played by fate. A cosmic prank designed especially for suckers who believe in second chances after screwing up their first ones so badly there's no going back. But here's where things get dark, and yeah, you can judge me if you want because part of me hates myself for even thinking this. Sometimes late at night when sleep won't come, And every regret is screaming louder than sirens outside. A tiny voice whispers, "Tell Mark. Tell him everything." I imagine showing him screenshots, the late-night texts, the hotel receipts, the way Anna once called him boring while lying naked beside me. God, I hate myself for remembering that most. I imagine his face crumpling as he reads proof his wife isn't who he thought, his whole world tilting sideways like mine did when Lisa found out about us. And I imagine for 1 second that feeling, the sick satisfaction of knowing I'm not alone in misery anymore. Because why should she get away clean while I lose everything? You see how twisted this gets, right? Because I'm not that person, or at least I don't want to be. But heartbreak does weird things. It warps your sense of justice until revenge starts tasting sweet even though it's poison every single time. I picture sending Mark an anonymous email. The woman you're married to has been lying to you. I picture him confronting her in their perfect kitchen, their whole life shattering with 3 words, "Did you cheat?" I picture Anna calling at me, screaming, hating me forever, but also freeing myself, because once she's burned every bridge she can't come back, and I won't keep hoping she's standing on the other side waving. But then morning comes, and I don't do iti delete drafts, I erase screenshots, I remind myself revenge isn't justice. It just makes 2 people miserable instead of one. And honestly, I'm already miserable enough for both of us. But God, it stings. How unfair is it that I lost everything, my wife, my home, my peace, and Anna gets nothing, no consequences, no guilt, no sleepless nights. At least none I can see. Is that what karma looks like? Or does karma only exist for idiots who still believe people tell the truth when they say, "I love you"? I keep replaying our last conversation over and over. "This isn't working, I'm sorry." Didn't even look at me when she said it, just stared past my shoulder at some bird outside her window. Like breaking my heart was as easy as turning off a lamp before bed. I wanted to scream, "How can you walk away so easily?" But instead I just nodded, because that's what desperate people do. They agree, even as they're dying inside, because hope's worse than heartbreak. Some tiny part of you always believes they'll come back, even when they're already gone. Afterward, I tried reaching out, maybe 10 times, maybe 20. She'd reply curtly, "Please stop." Each message felt more humiliating than the last, until finally, I stopped too, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. If there's anything sadder than loving someone who doesn't want you anymore, I haven't found it yet. I talked to Lisa once. Since then she sounded tired, like decades older than before. She asked if I still saw Anna. I lied and said number, because what's another lie between exes, right? Sometimes I wonder if Lisa's okay, if she's moved on, found someone better, someone who doesn't destroy everything good handed to him, someone who doesn't chase excitement right off a cliff. Sometimes I wish she'd call, to scream at me, to curse my name, to give some sign she's hurting too. Instead, silence, just emptiness where our life used to be. Even work changed after news about Lisa spread. Everyone looked at me different, like I'd grown horns. Overnight, people whispered, people judged. I couldn't blame them. The worst part, Anna acted normal, smiling, laughing with Mark, still wearing her wedding ring, like none of what happened behind closed doors ever touched her real life. One day, I walked past Anna's desk. She didn't even glance up, just kept typing. Her ring caught sunlight. There was something infuriatingly perfect about how ordinary she looked. Invisible scars don't show up on skin. But God, I wish they did. Then maybe people would understand why I'm unraveling. The urge comes back sometimes. Tell Mark, tell everyone, blow up her world, so mine doesn't feel so empty anymore. Maybe then justice would feel less hollow. Maybe then sleeping alone wouldn't sting so much. I dreamt once that Anna called meeting somewhere quiet. She apologized, said she'd made a mistake, that she did love me but couldn't handle hurting Mark, said goodbye again. But this time hugged me till sunrise. When I woke up, my pillow was wet from tears. I couldn't remember if I hated her more or missed her more in that moment. Some nights, I stare at old photos, us grinning over sushi takeout containers, piled high, music playing on speakers. Low light. Her hand tangled with mine, both looking wild, happy, free. I try convincing myself those moments were real, that some part wasn't built on lies but memory, is tricky, it rewrites itself. Until even your happiest moments feel tainted. I wonder if Anna thinks about those nights. Does her heart ache too? Or does guilt evaporate once you've chosen which side you're staying on? Everything feels unfinished, no closure, just loose ends knotted tight enough to strangle. Whenever someone asks why I'm single now, I say it didn't work out. They nod politely, but inside, I'm screaming, you have no idea. Some days, I convince myself I'm over it, that I've moved on, that someday I'll meet someone who doesn't run. Even started therapy, half-hearted attempts at dating apps, nothing sticks. People sense desperation, they smell heartbreak from miles away. One girl asked, why did your marriage end? I shrugged, mumbled something vague about growing apart, but inside, every cell wants to confess. I destroyed everything chasing someone who didn't want saving. How do you admit that without sounding insane? Sometimes I see couples laughing on benches, on sidewalks, on TV, and I think, is anybody really happy? Or are we all pretending until reality cracks us open too? I keep coming back here, to this memory loop, this endless rerun, because it's easier than facing an empty apartment. And tonight, the urge creeps back again. Tell Mark, tell him everything. Set fire to their perfect little world. Would it help? Would it free me? Would anyone care? Or would I just be another villain in another story nobody remembers except as a cautionary tale? The truth is, I miss Anna far more than I should. After all she's put me through, after all we've both done wrong, my brain knows she's poisoned. My heart still aches anyway. Isn't that the worst part? Not being able to turn off feelings just because logic says it's time. Here's what nobody tells you about heartbreak. It lingers long after apologies dry up, long after phones go silent, long after you're supposed to have moved on. It sits heavy inside your chest, refusing to budge, tainting every good thing, your favorite songs, your favorite foods, your best memories, all infected by loss. Some days, I fantasize about starting over. New job, new city, new face, but pain follows. You can't outrun yourself. No matter how far you go, the only thing left is acceptance. And forgiveness. But forgiving yourself is harder than forgiving anyone else. I keep writing letters, never send them. Some addressed, Dear Mark. Some addressed, Dear Anna. Some addressed, Dear Me. Most end up torn into pieces, flushed down drains, burned in ashtrays. There's never enough ink for closure, never enough words for I'm sorry. Never enough explanations for why humans do cruel things, even when they're sure they're justified. The biggest lie we tell ourselves: it will be different next time. But will it? How do scars fade if every new beginning opens old wounds? I watch Anna sometimes. See her laughter echoing through office halls, the way Mark picks her up after work, some small part, hopes she'll look back, reach out one more chance. One more apology, one more anything, but deep down, I know she's already erased us, erased me, living proof. Sometimes loving hard means losing harder still. Revenge whispers, weight simmers just beneath skin. Will justice ever find its mark? Or am I doomed, forever holding bags packed with everyone else's secrets, but no place left called home? And tonight, as midnight creeps closer, the urge claws its way back up from gut, up from grief. Would telling Mark really change anything? Or would it finally set me free from hope's last cruel grip? I wish I knew. If only heartbreak came with instructions, if only endings weren't so damn silent, so damn lonely, so damn unfair.